I never planned to work at a lighthouse. I took the job because I was desperate, broke, and running out of places to hide from my past. When the council in northern Scotland advertised temporary night maintenance work at a decommissioned lighthouse, I accepted without thinking. I told myself it would be quiet, just waves, wind, and isolation. No people, no memories. I arrived on a gray afternoon when the sea looked thick and unmoving, like oil poured across jagged rocks. The lighthouse stood alone at the edge of the cliff, its white paint peeling and glass dome clouded with salt. From a distance, it looked abandoned, but the closer I got, the more it felt like it was watching me. The keeper's quarters were small but clean, stocked with canned food, a kettle, and an old radio that crackled constantly with static. There was no mobile signal, no internet, just silence and the sound of the sea far below. On the desk lay a thick logbook filled with names going back decades. The final entry was dated 8 years ago. There was no signature, only one sentence, written so hard it tore the paper beneath it. It read, "Do not answer the light." I laughed quietly, but the sound felt wrong inside the room. I told myself the message was just an old joke, something written by a bored keeper trying to scare the next fool who arrived. Still, I couldn't stop thinking about it as night crept in. After dinner, I climbed the spiral stairs to inspect the lamp room. The main beacon had been disconnected years ago, but a smaller auxiliary light still worked for emergency signaling. I checked the wiring, replaced a loose fuse, and tested the system. When I switched it on, the beam sliced through the fog in a slow, steady rotation. For a moment, it was almost beautiful. I switched it off and noted everything in the maintenance sheet. By midnight, the fog thickened until the lighthouse windows were nothing but gray walls. At exactly 1:17 a.m., I woke to a low mechanical hum vibrating through the floor. It took a few seconds to understand what I was hearing. The light was turning. I sat up, heart pounding, listening to the slow creak of rotation above me. I was certain I had turned it off. Grabbing a torch, I climbed the stairs again, step colder than the last. The lamp room was glowing faintly. The switch was still in the off position. My hands started shaking. I shut the system down manually and pulled the breaker, cutting all power to the lamp room. Darkness swallowed the tower instantly. The silence afterward felt heavy, like the building itself was holding its breath. I didn't sleep again that night. When morning came, I went straight back to the logbook, hoping to distract myself with routine. As I flipped through the pages, I noticed the handwriting changed every few entries. Different keepers, different years, yet the same phrase appeared again and again, sometimes scratched out, sometimes underlined aggressively. "The sea answers back." My stomach tightened as I read it. I tried to laugh it off, telling myself people living alone for months lose perspective. Old buildings make noises, circuits fail. By late afternoon, the fog returned, rolling in fast and low. The sea below sounded wrong. The waves didn't crash in steady rhythms. They came unevenly like footsteps, stopping and starting. That night, at 11:42 p.m., the radio turned on by itself. There was no voice, no signal, just slow breathing through the static. Wet, close, and deliberate. I slammed the radio off and backed away, pulse racing. Then the lights started turning again. This time, I didn't go upstairs. I stood frozen, watching the beam sweep across the fog from the narrow window. That was when I saw something that made my knees weaken. Far out at sea, another light responded. 3 flashes, a pause. 3 flashes again. It wasn't random. It was deliberate. My mind raced as I tried to remember Morse code. When it hit me, my mouth went dry. The signal spelled one word. Hello. I stood there for a long time, telling myself it had to be a boat, a trick of the fog, anything but what it felt like. But the light waited, steady and patient. Against every instinct I had, I climbed the stairs and turned the auxiliary light back on. My hands trembled as I flashed a response. "WHO is there." The reply came almost immediately. "You should not be here." Cold spread through my chest. I shut the light off and pulled the curtains tight, breathing hard. I told myself I would leave in the morning. I had made a mistake coming here. That night, sleep came in short, broken bursts, filled with dreams of drowning under glass. When I woke, The lighthouse was silent. For a moment, I thought everything had been a nightmare. Then I saw the desk. The logbook was open to a new page. Fresh ink stained the paper. My name was written at the top in handwriting I recognized immediately. My own. Below it was today's date. Under that, one short sentence. It knows you're alone. Panic finally took hold. I packed my bag and rushed outside, determined to leave before nightfall. But the path away from the lighthouse was gone. Where the narrow trail along the cliff should have been, there was nothing but open sea crashing violently below. I stared in disbelief, stepping closer, my stomach dropping. The lighthouse wasn't standing on the edge of the land anymore. It was surrounded. The wind howled louder as the day darkened unnaturally fast. By night, the fog pressed against the windows like hands. The light turned on without warning, spinning faster than before. The answering light at sea pulsed brighter, closer. The radio exploded into life, filled with overlapping whispers repeating the same words. "Answer it." I covered my ears, but the sound came from everywhere. I grabbed a metal tool and smashed the lamp room glass. It shattered violently, slicing my hands and arms, but I didn't stop. Blood dripped onto the floor as I tore through the wiring and killed the power completely. The beam died instantly. Outside, the answering light vanished like it had never existed. The whispers on the radio cut off mid-word. I didn't wait to see what would happen next. I ran down the stairs, burst through the door, and stumbled into the cold night air. The cliff path was there again, solid beneath my feet. I ran until my lungs burned and my vision blurred. I didn't look back. By sunrise, I collapsed near the main road, shaking and bleeding. I never returned. Weeks later, heard they sent another crew to inspect the lighthouse. They found nothing wrong. No broken glass, no damaged wiring. The system was fully functional. The logbook ended 8 years ago, with no mention of me. Officials claimed the place had been empty the entire time. I didn't argue. Some things aren't meant to be proven. I moved inland and avoided the coast whenever possible. But the sea has a long memory. Something inside me snapped. I climbed the stairs because it felt inevitable. Like resisting would only make it worse. The lamp room was freezing. The glass walls were covered in fingerprints from the inside, smeared and layered, as if people had tried desperately to get out. The auxiliary switch clicked on by itself. Through the glass, I saw the other lighthouse clearly. Now, it was identical to this one. Same height, same cracks, same stains, even the same broken railing. Standing in its lamp room was a figure, tall, still, watching me. I couldn't see its face, but I knew without doubt it was looking directly at me. Slowly, it raised its hand. Without thinking, I raised mine back. The light flashed once. A final message burned into the fog. "Come home." Understanding hit me like ice water. This lighthouse didn't guide ships away from danger. It replaced people. The logbook wasn't a warning. It was a record. Names of those who answered back. My chest tightened as the figure leaned closer to the glass, smiling at me with my own shape. I realized what would happen if I stayed one more night. Even now, years later, I can't escape it completely. Sometimes, late at night, when I'm driving alone near the coast, I see a familiar glow far out at sea. A single beam cutting through the darkness where no lighthouse should exist. It flashes 3 times. A pause. 3 times again. I never respond. I grip the steering wheel and keep driving, my heart racing until the light fades from view. I know what happens if I answer. I know the lighthouse is patient. It doesn't need to chase you. It only waits. The sea answers back, just like the logbook said. And one day, when someone else is desperate, broke, and looking for quiet isolation, the council will post the job again. A temporary position, night maintenance, no experience required. The lighthouse will look abandoned from a distance, safe, still. And when that person arrives, the light will stay dark at first. It always does. Until the moment it decides to wake up. Until the moment it decides someone new belongs to it. I tell this story because I don't want to carry it alone anymore. If you ever see a light flashing back from the sea, don't answer it. No matter how lonely you feel. Some places don't guide you home. They make you disappear.